Have a look at these pictures and guess the location. Maybe you guessed it right. These are the streets of India. But why are everyday streets filled with the animals we praise and consider sacred? We offer them food in our daily lives and consume their milk. But still, why they are roaming around abandoned? And it doesn't stop here. We pollute our own sacred rivers and still we consider them as our mother. Well, if you want to witness a paradox, then welcome to India. Look, here's the thing. If you go back to our ancient traditions and scriptures, they actually talked about living with nature, not against it, respecting trees, rivers, animals, it was all there combined. So what happened? Somewhere along the way, the same traditions that taught us devotion started contributing to the mess we see today. Ritual offerings and festival waste are left unmanaged, and then we are the one who blame the government for not keeping our streets clean. But here's the real question. Is it really the government's fault? Or is it us? The truth is, cleanliness is not just a government responsibility. It is also a reflection of our own behavior. There is a strange gap in how we think as a society. A mindset that prevents civic sense from becoming part of our daily lives. We can keep our homes clean and spotless. But the moment we step outside, civic sense just it disappears. That's the missing piece we are going to unpack today. So let's get into it. Doglapan. I think there is no other word for it. Imagine this. You head to the riverside, expecting peace, beauty, and a moment of calm. And what do you find instead? Trash and plastic floating everywhere. The Ganga, a river we call Mother, a river we sing bhajans and perform arti. And still on any given day you will find waste floating in its waters. And here's the real Doglapan. On one hand, we are performing the puja, holding our hands, lighting diyas, and on the other hand, we are dumping everything straight into it like it's a public dustbin. Leftover offerings, ritual waste, all wrapped in a plastic, going directly into the water. Even the things we consider natural, flowers, ash, milk, which are offered as bhog, are not always as harmless as they seem, especially around ghats and during festivals, when large amount of these offerings end up in the river at the same time. As this organic waste decomposes, it can reduce the oxygen available in the water, making it harder for fish and other marine life to survive. And when it's mixed with the plastic and other non-biodegradable waste, the damage becomes even worse. We are not just polluting a river, we are slowly suffocating something we claim to worship. Perhaps the most visible problem that we have become so used to that we barely question it anymore. Walk through almost any Indian city and you will find them everywhere, standing in the middle of roads, feeding near garbage areas, wandering through markets, or resting outside residential colonies. What's even more surprising, that many of these cattle are not truly wild. In many cases, they belong to their owners living just few streets away. The milk is collected early morning or late night, but during the daytime, they are often left to fend for themselves on the streets in the open. And that's where another contradiction begins. We feed them as an act of devotion. We offer them rotis, vegetables, domestic leftover food, believing that we are doing something good deeds. But the harsh truth is, these animals don't just eat what we give them. They feed through overflowing dustbins, roadside waste, and garbage heaps. Along with the food scraps, they often end up consuming plastic bags, packaging material, and other waste mixed through it. For many years, many doctors and animal welfare groups have reported cases where large quantities of plastics were found inside the stomach of cattle that died after feeding on urban waste. And yet, we have somehow normalized this sight. A sacred animal standing beside a pile of garbage, a pregnant cow navigating through busy traffic. We have seen it so often that it no longer shocks us. But maybe it should, because devotion means more than offering food. It also means taking responsibility for the well-being of the animal after the offering is made. Hill stations, mountains, pilgrimage sites. These are supposed to be the sacred sites which are untouched and pure, away from the chaos of city life. But somehow they are not left behind either. What starts as a holy pilgrimage often ends up turning these places into a garbage dump, a cash-driven tourist trap, and a stage for VIP culture. Take Kedarnath for example. Here's a question worth asking. Why there is a sudden surge in bhakti? Where was this crowd before Instagram Reels or social media became a thing? Because let's be honest, for a lot of people, this isn't about the faith anymore. It's more about the perfect shot, perfect angle, and a trending devotional audio playing in the background while they pose for the cameras. And once the reel is recorded, the trash stays behind. Wrappers, bottles, plastics scattered across the site people claim to hold sacred. And it's not just the environment paying the price. The mules that carry pilgrims up these mountain routes. They work through extreme conditions, overloaded with baggage and barely any rest. Animals who are serving us are suffering quietly while we click pictures at the top. On the positive side, authorities have stepped in with stricter rules, better crowd management, and cleaner drives. But the rules alone cannot solve the problem. Because the real issue isn't the number of pilgrims, it's the mindset people carry with them during the pilgrimage. Since we have talked enough about the impacts and implications of our so-called good deeds, so why not talk about the positive initiatives led by responsible citizens? In Bengaluru, a citizen forum led by Sri Lakshmi V noticed something simple. People were leaving their old idols and photographs of gods near trees, temples, and parks because throwing them in trash felt wrong. So instead of judging it, they tried to fix it. They started a collection drive, segregating the items, what could be recycled, and disposing the rest. No guilt, no roadside dumping, just a respectful alternative. Then we have a Prayagraj. In July 2025, two major temples, Sri Mankameshwar Mahadev and Rinmukteshwar Mahadev, banned polythene bags and packaged milk on their premises. But why? Devotees were asked to drink milk the way it was always meant to be offered, in copper, brass, silver, or earthen pots. No plastic and no compromise on devotion. And then we have OSR Charitable Trust. This trust collects old murtis, photos, and puja items sitting in your home for years because people don't want to throw away, but also don't want their items to end up in a river. They pick up items directly from your home and dispose them in a way that's both environmentally responsible and spiritually respectful. Three different cities, three different problems, but the same solution. Faith doesn't have to be compromised on responsibility, and responsibility doesn't have to be compromised on faith. So where does this leave us? Is it faith? Is it tradition? Or is it the way we have chosen to practice them? Because if there's one thing this entire video points towards, it's our behavior. How we look at the space around us. Look, here's something to think about. Rivers in other countries are considered just as rivers, clean, flowing, and respected simply because they are a vital part of the ecosystem. What do we actually want? A river we call mother, but treated like a public dustbin. Cow that is devoured, but left to survive on garbage. In our country, walls are painted with gods just so people think twice before urinating on them. Because at the end of the day, if you want to witness a paradox, you don't need to look far. It's right outside your door.